Hey, welcome to my channel. I did not try to attempt getting the whole trip done today. Had couple meetings, and I was tired. I slept. It's 8 hours each way. And we stopped and had to let the dog walk and things like that. And I've driven a lot in my life, and it's really hard to keep from getting to where you really don't want to travel. I have older cousins and they don't want to travel. Suzanne has driven all over the country, and she lives in Mexico now, and she doesn't come back up here much anymore. So it's just the traveling. You don't want to do it too much. It can wear on you. And driving for an extended period of time, anyway. So a lot of you guys travel way more than I do, and you get used to it. You can get used to anything. Live in the moment. So something happened to a family member recently. Went through a panic attack, just simple panic attack, and it reminded me when I was that age of when I was in my second year of college, and I had not a panic attack, but you go through a really low spell because it doesn't feel like your life is going anywhere, and it's so uncertain. Uncertainty and anxiety can creep up in the most profound ways, and it happens in business just as much as it does for people that aren't working. When you're going through, it's naturally to get upset and when you're moving through cycles, the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. And if you've been through enough cycles, you understand that it's just something new. I can look back and think, and life does kind of work in like a 9-year cycle. If you really think about it, I mean, we talk about it astrologically, but if you just conceptually look at your life, if you live long enough and say, well, yeah, there was a big shift that happened, and I went through about 9 years of that type of lifestyle, and then you'll move into something else. And it's not one, you can't say that one is better than the other. They're all different. And I kind of wanted to focus on that, talk about that a little bit, because you could say that this is kind of like a reading or a belief system. It's a understanding of what goes on around us based on understanding, and that takes time. Readers do channels, and I enjoy readers, but when you think about how the reader is telegraphing the message, it's always based on their own personal belief and what they've experienced and what they know. And most of the time, for young readers, it's purely conceptual of what they're feeling and maybe who they're reading for. But then it always moves into some form of advice. Has to, right? Because if you're, whatever it is, whoever it is that you're reading for, or you're feeling and what they're going through, whatever type of pain they're carrying, you want to give them advice on how to relieve that pain for themselves. And so we're finding that as a society, if anxiety is ramping up and there's more uncertainty, then people naturally need to take more rest. And I was thinking about that the other day. The older you get, and you'll start when you're younger, like as a apprentice electrician, when I started working, there were older guys that seemed like, they were getting twice as much done, and it looked like they were standing still. It didn't look like they were working at all. And that's really kind of true with a lot of things. With just about everything. It's like the more that you learn to stand still, the more that you'll accomplish, because you're not running around internally. You're in a very still, peaceful place. And it's a lot easier to get things done from a peaceful place, where you're not worrying about tomorrow or holding on to something that happened yesterday. And it makes your relationships a lot simpler. So you'll get more done in your relationships as well, because there's nothing for me to hold on to that you may have done or didn't do or whatever. Or Remember, we're just a point of awareness in a field of energy that's creating a structure in a field. That's all we are. So to conceptually think of yourself as something other than that and tied to that, if you're not at the heart of it, then you're tied to some kind of timeline that's trying to come from or go back to the heart. If it's moving away from the heart, it's highly judgmental. If it's moving back towards the heart, it's accepting and has a limited understanding of itself. Hope that made sense. So yeah, on the emotional side, you don't realize those things, and even if you understand it, it takes a long time to rewire the brain and the body to where it's always at a state of rest, and you're able to gather. It's like your roots have grown because you're always going to be feeling everything that goes on around you. But if you're reacting to it, then you really haven't accepted it and being able to let your roots lay in it and let it nurture your own understanding of who and what we are. Growing roots. It's about growing roots. I hope these metaphors mean something to you. It's, yeah, very interesting. And I remember, I was worried as hell, and I felt terrible because I felt like I had taken advantage of my parents who wanted to put me through college, and self-condemnation will kill you in the end. You're condemning yourself, and you can't really. Don't ever condemn yourself. You don't understand what we're doing, and it's all we condemn ourselves when we condemn anything out there. If you say that the person is bad or that what they're doing is bad, you're condemning them. Why would you condemn them? Now, that's different than letting people know what kind of activities are killing themselves. And there's always a part of you that wants to grow back together. So it will make you angry that we're killing ourselves unconsciously. And if you see somebody killing themselves unconsciously, then it's a part of your nature to want to you don't want that to happen. And, yeah, my advice is take rest. Always think and take time to rest. And just do what you're asked. Because if you can nurture your environment, it will nurture you. It's just a mirror. You really want to nurture your environment and nurture the people around you, because we're all blind and we always will be. And children need to be nurtured. And if we treat each other like children and not try to assume that we should know something or not know something, then things get a lot easier. Anyway, yeah, so I am, and you go through enough states of being where you can empathize with anything, and that's how you can nurture your environment, is if you can empathize with any position that anybody's in. Yeah. Love you guys. And I don't know I'm going to make the whole video, but I basically just got on here and spewed some stuff. Pretty much the same thing a reader does, because it's just focusing on what the cards are telling them, but it's always different. So there's always so many different aspects that you can speak about yourself, whether you believe in, in your ability to make a difference in your own life, or change. Change comes whether you like it or not. But if you really want to ride on top of it, where it's nurturing you at the same time while you're going through the change, then nurture the people around you. Love them unconditionally. Why would you think, even if they're lashing out at their environment, they're doing so unconsciously, and then it repeats itself. And you don't have to get in there and tell them, but if they come to you, then help them. That's what we're all here for. Is that when we do what we're asked to do, the best we can to understand what we're being asked to do and do it. We're just a cell in a bigger organism after all. Love you guys. have a beautiful day, and I'll blab at you tomorrow.